The Galactic Council chamber hummed with tension. Alien diplomats, representing the most powerful empires, gathered to discuss the latest developments in the war between the Vidar Dominion and the Zelnari hierarchy. The war had raged for decades, with neither side gaining a decisive advantage. Humanity, a minor player in galactic politics, was barely mentioned. They were weak, insignificant, and unworthy of discussion. Yet, all attention shifted when an urgent transmission arrived. A massive, unidentified object had appeared at the battlefront, silent golden, and unlike anything recorded in galactic history. Its structure was vast, radiating energy that defied conventional physics. The Dominion fleet had been en route to a decisive victory, but the arrival of this anomaly changed everything. Sensors struggled to analyze it. The ship had no transponder, no communication, no sign of life. It drifted through space, as if waiting for something. The Viadar High Command assumed it was an abandoned relic, a derelict from some forgotten war. The Zelnari, however, were uneasy. They had seen many weapons in their centuries of war, but nothing like this. Its sheer presence disrupted subspace communications, and its hull absorbed scanning attempts like a void in reality. Cautious but intrigued, the Dominion sent a destroyer to investigate. The ship inched forward, weapons ready, broadcasting standard diplomatic greetings. Silence. No response. No movement. The destroyer moved closer, deploying drones to scan its surface. The data they returned made no sense. Solid yet shifting, ancient yet flawless, an impossible structure that should not exist. Growing impatient, the Dominion fleet fired a warning shot. A concentrated plasma burst aimed at the anomaly's inert hull. The bolt of energy never landed. It was absorbed mid-flight, vanishing into nothingness. Confusion turned to concern. Before they could process what had happened, the golden behemoth stirred. A ripple of light cascaded across its hull, as if it had awakened from a deep slumber. Systems flared to life, but not in any recognizable pattern. The ship's golden surface pulsed, responding to the failed attack. Panic gripped the Viadar fleet. The Zelnari, already preparing to retreat, knew that whatever this was, it was beyond them. The Dominion commander ordered a boarding party to secure the vessel. A small craft docked against its surface, attaching with magnetic clamps. The moment it connected, all transmissions from the team ceased. No distress calls. No vitals. Nothing. The ship remained eerily silent, as if it had swallowed them whole. Then, across every frequency, in every language known to the galactic community, a voice spoke. It was deep, ancient, and undeniably human. You were warned. The transmission cut out. The anomaly, no longer a passive observer, moved. Slowly at first, then with an efficiency that suggested intelligence. Its engines, unseen and unknown, propelled it forward. The fleet, shaken but determined, prepared for combat. The first shots were fired, not at it but from it. The warship had come from nowhere, and now it was awake. The first shots never landed. Beams of energy, torpedoes, and kinetic projectiles fired at the warship vanished upon impact, absorbed into its shimmering golden hull. The void around it twisted, bending reality in ways no species could comprehend. What should have been a devastating barrage instead fueled the anomaly, its surface pulsing brighter with each attack. Panic gripped the Dominion fleet. Their flagship, the pride of their armada, fired its superweapon, a planet-cracking lance of plasma capable of annihilating moons. The shot tore through space, aimed directly at the warship's center mass. It never reached its target. Mid-flight, the energy bolt halted, suspended in place as if time itself had fractured. Then, without warning, it reversed course, slamming back into the Dominion flagship. The colossal vessel didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist. No debris, no wreckage, just empty space where a battleship had been moments before. Terror spread through the ranks. The Zelnari had already begun retreating, their commanders realizing that this was not a battle. It was a demonstration, Whatever intelligence controlled the Golden Behemoth had no interest in war. It was issuing a warning. A Zelnari warlord attempted a last-ditch analysis, transmitting real-time data to the Galactic Council. What little they managed to decode sent a wave of unease through their ranks. The ship's energy readings weren't just high, they were impossible. It wasn't powered by conventional reactors or even exotic dark matter. It was drawing from something beyond science, beyond understanding. Then it attacked, not with missiles, not with lasers. The warship's retaliation was something far worse. Entire squadrons of ships simply disappeared, erased from existence without a trace. Others turned against their own, hijacked remotely, their crews screaming in confusion as they were forced to fire on their allies. Some ships experienced a horror beyond destruction. Time fractures within their hulls aged them by centuries in an instant, reducing them to drifting husks filled with dust. The remnants of the once proud Dominion fleet fled, the surviving Zelnari following without hesitation. No counterattack was possible. No strategy mattered. But the warship did not pursue. It remained where it was, as if contemplating its next move. Then, across every surviving vessel, a new transmission began to broadcast. Not a threat, not an ultimatum, a distress signal. The language was ancient but unmistakable. It was human. For the first time, the galactic powers realized the truth. This was no alien weapon, no cosmic anomaly. It was something far more terrifying. It was human technology. The warship did not belong to any known Earth faction. It predated modern humanity. It spoke in dialects lost to time, referencing wars that had never been recorded. Whatever its origin, it had been asleep for millennia, waiting to be found. And now, it had awakened. The surviving alien forces did not celebrate their survival. They did not count themselves lucky, because if this was humanity's past, then their future would be unstoppable. The distress signal reached Earth. Linguists and historians scrambled to decode it. But even with advanced AI, much of the message remained fragmented. What little they could understand painted a chilling picture. This warship was not from the present. It belonged to a human civilization long erased from history, one that had mastered technologies beyond modern understanding. It had been lost, abandoned, or perhaps deliberately hidden, waiting in the void for a moment like this. The message carried no hostility, no threats. It was a statement of fact. The warship was returning home. Every major power on Earth watched as the Golden Behemoth altered course, accelerating toward Sol. The Galactic Council, shaken by what they had witnessed, convened an emergency session. Humanity had always been seen as a minor species, a backwater civilization with nothing to offer the greater galactic community. But now, everything had changed. Fear spread through the council chambers. If humanity had built something like this before, what else had they forgotten? Were there more warships waiting in the void? Had humanity once ruled the stars and simply fallen into obscurity? And most terrifying of all, if the ship was waking up now, what had it been meant to fight? The Council's paranoia led to an immediate decision. The warship had to be destroyed before it reached Earth. A coalition armada was dispatched, made up of dozens of the most advanced warships in the galaxy. They had no illusions about an easy victory. But if they struck before the warship reached full power, they might stand a chance. The fleet intercepted the warship at the edge of the Sol system. Earth, powerless to intervene, watched the battle unfold in real time. The Council forces demanded surrender. Silence. They threatened destruction. Silence. They fired. The warship did not evade, did not defend itself. It allowed the first volley to land as if testing their weapons. The projectiles and energy beams impacted. But the result was the same as before, nothing. The golden hull absorbed everything, pulsing brighter with each hit. Then, the warship spoke again. This universe belongs to humanity. You are trespassers. The counterattack was swift. Unlike before, it did not erase ships from existence. Instead, the warship deployed something new. Fragments of golden energy detached from its hull, forming an armada of their own. Ships that had never been seen before, weapons with no known origin. They moved with a precision that no organic fleet could match. The battle lasted seconds. The Council's fleet, the finest warships in the galaxy, was annihilated before they could retreat. The few survivors sent desperate messages back to their homeworlds, warning them of the inevitable. The warship continued on its path, undeterred, unstoppable. It entered Earth's orbit and, for the first time, went silent. No attacks, no demands, just an eerie stillness, as if it was waiting. The galaxy was no longer questioning if humanity was a threat. They were asking how long they had left. Earth held its breath. The warship, now in orbit, loomed over the planet like a golden monolith. Every nation, every military, every scientist watched in silence, unsure whether this was salvation or extinction. It did not fire. It did not send demands. It simply waited. Deep space observatories detected something even more unsettling. Strange distortions at the edges of the system, faint but growing stronger. The warship had not come to conquer Earth. It had come to defend it. The truth became clear. The warship was never meant to be found by accident. It had been left behind for a reason. Something was coming, something old, something that had once threatened humanity's ancient ancestors. The warship was waking up because the enemy was returning. Across the Galactic Council's worlds, the panic deepened. If humanity had once built weapons like this, then their enemies must have been even worse. And now, that war was reigniting. Earth's leaders, still in shock, debated what to do. Could they communicate with the warship? Could they control it? Could they trust it? But before they could act, the warship made its move. It activated. Golden light spread across its hull, and something deep within it shifted. A pulse of energy rippled outward, touching every ship, every station, every satellite in orbit. Systems rebooted. Old code surfaced in ancient archives. Messages, hidden deep within forgotten data vaults, began to decode themselves. The warship was not just a weapon. It was a beacon. It was calling for reinforcements. The distortions at the edge of the system intensified. Alien signals, unknown to any modern species, echoed through space. Something had heard the warship's call, and it was answering. The galaxy watched in helpless terror. The warship had come from nowhere, but it had not come alone. The war humanity had forgotten was about to begin again.